Hey, hey! Welcome to Fluent with AI, the podcast where English meets storytelling, humor meets hustle. I'm Nancy, your friendly English coach from the future. Today's story is all about the Great Airport Escape, a traveler's comedy of errors. Chapter 1: The Landing of Confusion. Sarah stepped off the plane in Bangkok, clutching her backpack like a security blanket and squinting at her phone screen. After 15 hours of airplane food that tasted like cardboard seasoned with regret, she was ready to conquer Thailand. What she wasn't ready for was the transportation maze that awaited her. "How hard can it be?" she muttered, famous last words that have launched 1,000 travel disasters. Chapter 2: The Public Transport Puzzle. Standing before a wall of Thai text that might as well have been ancient hieroglyphics, Sarah remembered her friend Jake's advice: just follow the crowd. The crowd, however, seemed to be playing an elaborate game of human pinball, bouncing between different colored lines on a transit map that looked like a toddler's crayon masterpiece. She approached the ticket machine, which greeted her with approximately 47 different options in 3 languages she couldn't read. After pressing random buttons for 5 minutes, the international language of confused tourists, she somehow acquired what appeared to be either a train ticket or a very expensive bookmark. Pro tip alert: download offline transit apps before you travel. Your future, lost self will thank you when you're standing in a subway station that looks like the set of a sci-fi movie. Chapter 3: The Rideshare Roulette. Plan B: The Magical World of Rideshare Apps. Sarah downloaded what locals assured her was the Uber of Bangkok, though it had a name that sounded like someone sneezing in Mandarin. She typed in her destination and watched in horror as surge pricing turned her $5 ride into a $50 adventure. 3 different drivers accepted and then immediately canceled her ride. The 4th driver, according to the app, was named Super Cool Dragon 2023 and was apparently driving a motorcycle. In her jet-lagged state, Sarah briefly wondered if she'd accidentally ordered a mythical creature instead of transportation. When Super Cool Dragon 2023 finally arrived, in a perfectly normal taxi, disappointing Sarah's inner fantasy novelist, he greeted her with a smile and immediately began what she could only assume was either directions to her hotel or a very passionate recitation of Thai poetry. Survival tip: screenshot your destination in the local language. Google Translate's camera function is your best friend, even if it occasionally translates hotel as place where dreams go to cry. Chapter 4: The Scam Dodging Olympics. You want taxi? Very good price for you, my friend, called out a man who appeared to have materialized from thin air the moment Sarah looked confused, which, let's be honest, was her default expression since landing. Having read approximately 73 travel blogs about transportation scams, Sarah had prepared for this moment. She knew about the classic broken meter trick, the scenic route to nowhere special, and the ever-popular "that'll be $200 for a $10 ride" finale. "Meter, please," she said confidently, proud of herself for remembering this crucial phrase. The driver looked at her with the expression of someone who'd just been asked to explain quantum physics to a goldfish. "Meter broken, very sorry." Of course it was. Scam busting strategy: always agree on the price before getting in, take a photo of the license plate, and trust your gut. If something feels fishier than a seafood market at noon, it probably is. Chapter 5: The Rental Car Revelation. Determined to take control of her destiny and her transportation, Sarah decided to rent a car. This decision would later be filed under "seemed like a good idea at the time," right next to "I'll just have one more drink" and "I can definitely assemble this IKEA furniture without instructions." The rental car counter was staffed by a cheerful young man who spoke excellent English and had an alarming enthusiasm for insurance upsells. By the time he finished his presentation, Sarah was pretty sure she'd accidentally purchased coverage for alien abduction and meteor strikes. "Do you have an international driving license?" he asked sweetly. Sarah's face went through several colors not typically found in nature. "I thought my regular license would work." The man's smile suggested he'd had this conversation approximately 47,000 times. "Not in Thailand, my friend." Reality check: International driving permits aren't just suggestions, they're actual requirements. Apply for yours before you travel, unless you enjoy expensive paperwork adventures in foreign countries. Chapter 6: The City-Specific Survival Guide. Through trial, error, and what could only be described as divine intervention, Sarah eventually mastered Bangkok's transport system. But her next stop was Tokyo, where she discovered that her hard-earned Bangkok transport wisdom was about as useful as a chocolate teapot. In Tokyo, the trains ran with Swiss watch precision, but the system was so complex it made quantum mechanics look like tic-tac-toe. Sarah spent her first morning riding the Yamanote line in circles like a very slow, very expensive carousel. Then came Paris, where she learned that the metro workers' favorite hobby was apparently going on strike at the exact moment she needed to catch a train. London taught her that mind the gap wasn't just a suggestion, it was a survival imperative. And in New York, she discovered that asking for directions was like playing Russian roulette with your sanity. Universal truth: every city's transport system is a special snowflake of confusion. Research beforehand, download local apps, and remember that getting lost is just unplanned sightseeing. Chapter 7: Emergency Protocols and Panic Management. During her Rome adventure, Sarah's phone died, her wallet fell into a fountain, don't ask, and she found herself stranded at Termini station at midnight, speaking approximately zero Italian and looking like she'd been hit by a very stylish Roman bus. This is when she activated what she now calls her travel panic protocol. 1. Find a safe, well-lit public place. 2. Look for someone in uniform, police, security, transit workers. 3. Use universal sign language, pointing, dramatic gesturing, and the international expression of helplessness. 4. Keep emergency cash in multiple places. 5. Have your embassy's contact information written down somewhere your phone can't betray you. A kind Italian police officer, probably taking pity on this confused tourist who looked like she'd been put through a blender set to chaos, helped her call her hotel. The concierge arrived an hour later like a knight in shining armor, albeit one who spoke excellent English and knew where to get the best gelato at 1 a.m. Emergency wisdom: always have a backup plan for your backup plan. And maybe a backup for that too. It's backups all the way down. Epilogue: The Seasoned Traveler. 6 months and 12 countries later, Sarah had evolved from transportation newbie to something resembling a competent traveler. She could now navigate subway systems with the confidence of a local, negotiate taxi fares like a diplomat, and spot transportation scams from 3 blocks away. Her phone was equipped with more transport apps than actual social media, her wallet contained currency from at least 6 different countries, and she'd learned to pack her international driving permit with the same care most people reserve for their passport. But most importantly, she'd learned that getting lost wasn't a failure, it was just another adventure waiting to become a great story. After all, her best travel memories weren't from the perfectly planned itineraries, but from the wonderfully chaotic moments when everything went hilariously wrong. As she sat in yet another airport, waiting for her next flight, Sarah smiled at the confused-looking tourist studying a transit map upside down. She walked over, tapped him on the shoulder, and said, "First time? Let me show you the ropes." The circle of travel wisdom continues, one befuddled tourist at a time. That's it for today's episode of Fluent with AI. Send me a message or share your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, share with a friend. I'm Nancy. Keep laughing. Keep learning. Catch you next time on Fluent with AI.